Hi everyone, this is the first ever video of English Winglish on YouTube, and for all of you who have asked us to make YouTube videos on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, this one is for all of you. And the first thing that we are going to learn about in this channel is the most basic thing, yet the most important thing, which is the simple present tense. Now, how do we create a sentence in the simple present tense? In simple present tense, we use the first form of a verb. And what's a verb? An action word is called a verb. So all the action words that you have heard of, like make, eat, run, walk, sleep, all these words are action words and they are called verbs. So all these verbs have three major forms, right? So for example, eat would have eat, ate, eaten. Take has take, took, taken. So we have to use the first form of the verb in simple present tense. That's why I would say I wake up at 7 a.m. every day, because wake, which is wake up, is the first form of that verb. Now the first place where we use simple present tense is to talk about our habits and routines. Now these habits can be our daily habits, like I wake up at 7 a.m. every day, or it can be our weekend habits, or it can be our monthly routine, or it can be our yearly routine. It can be anything. For example, if I say I go to the temple every year on my birthday, so that is something that I do every year. So that's my yearly routine, and that's why we are using the first form of the verb go, which is go. Go, went, gone, remember? And that's why this is the simple present tense. Now the second place where we use simple present tense is to talk about permanent situations or to talk about general facts. For example, if I say I live in Delhi, that's a general fact and I'm permanently living here. That's why I'm saying I live in Delhi. That's why I'm using simple present tense. Another example would be water boils at 100 degrees. So that's a fact. Water always boils at 100 degrees, and that's why I'm using simple present tense. Now you have to see that we are always using the first form of the verb. So boil is the first form of boil, boiled, boiled, and live is the first form of live, lived, lived. So always use the first form in simple present tense. The most important rule that we need to remember when we want to make a sentence in simple present tense is when to use S or ES with a verb. For example, I'm saying he wakes up at 7 a.m. every day. But at the same time, we say I wake up at 7 a.m. every day. Why are we using wake with I and wakes up with he? The rule is that when there is something singular, singular means one person or one thing, then we use S or ES with a verb. So he is singular, right? He means one person. And that's why we are saying he wakes up at 7 a.m. every day. Now, when something is plural, plural means more than one person or more than one thing. There we don't use S or ES with a verb. So they is plural, right? And that's why we have to say they wake up at 7 a.m. every day. Now there are major exceptions to this rule that we need to remember, and the only major exceptions are I and you. With I and you, we don't add S or ES with a verb. So I wakes up is wrong. I wake up at 7 a.m. is right. You wakes up is wrong. You wake up at 7 a.m. every day is the right sentence. Now whenever you are learning any tense, you need to know how to make three types of sentences. The first one is a positive sentence, like I wake up at 7 a.m. every day. The second one is a negative sentence, like I don't wake up at 7 a.m. every day. And the third type of a sentence that you need to learn how to make would be a question, like do I wake up at 7 a.m. every day? Or how do I wake up at 7 a.m. every day? To make a negative sentence in simple present tense, we use does and do. And the rule is the same. When there is something singular, there we use does. When there is something plural, we use do there. So if the sentence is he wakes up at 7 a.m. every day, I would say he does not wake up because he is singular and that's why we use does. Similarly, with they, we use do because they is plural. So the right sentence would be, they do not wake up at 7 a.m. every day. Now again, the exceptions remain the same. With I and with you, we use do not, which is also called don't. And with anything singular, we use does not, which is also called doesn't. Now, before we move on to learn how to make questions in simple present tense, the trick that we need to remember is that whenever we are using does or do, with that, we never use s or es after the verb. So even if the sentence is, he wakes up at 7 a.m. every day, the negative sentence would be, he does not wake up. He does not wakes up would be wrong. So just remember that when you are using does or do, after that, we never use s or es after the verb. To make a question in simple present tense, we start with does or do. So if the sentence is, I wake up at 7 a.m. every day, the question would be, do I wake up at 7 a.m. every day? If the sentence is, he wakes up at 7 a.m. every day, the question would be, does he wake up at 7 a.m. every day? Remember that again, we are not using s or es after the verb when we are using does and do. And we are using does with he because it's singular, and we are using do with I because I and you are exceptions, remember? Now, that is the most basic form of a question when you are making a question in simple present tense. We start with does and do. And when that basic question has been created, you can make more questions by adding different question words in the beginning of that question. So if the question is, do I wake up at 7 a.m. every day? You can make, how do I wake up at 7 a.m. every day? Or when do I wake up? Or where do I wake up? So this is how you can add different question words in the beginning of the most basic question. But remember that the most basic question in simple present tense starts with does and do. So that was simple present tense for all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I would like all of you to write in the comment section and make different types of sentences with simple present tense, all positive, negative, and question, and we'll come up with the next video the next week.